This week, we're discussing PlayStation VR and non-necessary microtransactions. This is the Good Game, Bad Game podcast.
This is a song I wrote about the Good Game, Bad Game podcast. Good Game, Bad Game podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Good Game, Bad Game podcast. I'm your host, Spencer, and with me is a man who thinks if a boat hit me, I too would fold like a bridge. And I don't know. I'm just not buying it. It's my co-host, Mike. Mike, do you think I can keep that?
Yeah, I think you can, because here's the good news from that story.
What
No
story?
one cares
What
about
story?
Baltimore.
What story? What are you talking about?
Huh?
What are you talking about?
Oh, what are you talking about?
Did something happen with a bridge?
I'm maybe London Bridge, but
Is London Bridge falling down again? These goddamn Londoners.
yeah, I don't know how to build bridges. Like, it's not that hard. Just like play Bridge Sim once. And you got it
Just
figured out.
once. Just once.
Yep. Not that hard.
Do you think we can keep that, or do I need to pivot?
Nobody died.
From what?
I don't know. You're.
All right, I'm done.
If
I'm
this
sorry.
is a-
I'm sorry. I'm
if
sorry.
this-
I'm sorry.
If this is a non-existential theoretical bridge that has collapsed, and I don't know why we're even talking about this. It's perfectly fine.
You said I would fold like a bridge. Anyway, how was your weekend games? What'd you play? What'd you do?
Well, let's see. I played Madden. That sucked.
Okay.
That might be it, honestly. Yeah, that honestly might be it.
Jeez.
I hold on. I've had a busy week.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
I do have something to tell you though. I just realized I never texted you.
Tell me. Text me.
I saw, and you're not going to believe this. I saw a Monopoly Go ad in the flesh
Oh my god.
on TV.
Oh my god. They've heard us.
$500 million. Well worth it.
Because now you've finally seen it.
I've seen it. And now I can't stop thinking about it.
Did you happen to download it?
I did not. Did you?
Yes.
Yes, I know. Have you played it?
Yes.
Really?
Yep.
Are you blue pilled?
No. Bro, I do not know what's going on and I'm fucking scared.
Do you have to pass go and pay them $200 to keep playing?
It's insane. Yes, that's literally all it is. Just every time I pass go, they're like, okay, gimme. And I'm like, okay. What choice do I have?
You land on go to jail and they plant evidence on your phone and call the FBI and get you arrested.
Yes, that literally just happened to me, dude. Oh my god. Are you doing this to me?
Live from Crenshaw, it's GGBG.
I did. I downloaded it. And genuinely, I do not know. I do not know what's going on. It's one of those games where it's like, hit go, and then the dice roll, and then you like pick up cash off of that. And it's just like, okay, now tap this. Okay, now you gotta tap over here. Now tap this. Now tap this. Now, do you want to spend real money? And you gotta be cool. You gotta be careful. Because they were just telling you to tap, and you don't want to tap there. Well, maybe you do.
It's like when you play any mobile game and they walk you through like your first ad section. They're like, you can tap this button to skip the ad.
Mm-hmm.
And they give you like 3 of them free.
Mm-hmm.
That's so shitty. I hate that.
Yeah, so I really don't get like the point, but I'm gonna stick it out. Um, I'm in Paris. I've made it to Paris. I forget what that is. I
Damn.
meant to make like a mental note of that. And I believe I'm level 99, but I'm not really sure what that means. Like my net worth upgrades are up to 99, and it looks like my next one will be at 200 maybe. Maybe? I don't know.
Do you think it's cross-platform?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay. I just downloaded. I'm playing now.
I don't know I don't know how I guess I can just invite you.
Yeah, do you have a friend code or something?
I don't know cuz I don't really have Maybe I should send it to my work group chat.
Just start spamming it. Oh, so you need to have Facebook to play with friends?
Well, I'm not on Facebook, but I also don't
I'm
know.
not either.
I don't know what my name is. My name is just you as far as I can see. I'll figure it out. I'll figure out how to my name I see my name now. It's like one of those like it's basically like when you first sign up for Xbox Live and they give you like Fart Destroyer.
Yeah.
That's basically they gave me one of those. So I don't know if I can change my name or not. Probably not. You probably have to like connect to Facebook to do it. But yeah, we can become friends.
Terrible. I'm in New York. That's exciting. Yeah. Tap here, tap there, tap every fucking where.
Yeah, and for like the first like session you play, it's like you're like, oh man, this is never ending. How would I ever not be able to roll? And then you reach the end and you have no more rolls, and you go, I will give you $500 right now to give me more rolls. So anyway,
I'm laughing. Sorry, I'm live going through this. It's like build the Statue of Liberty. Now build it again. That's not big enough. Now build it a third time, and then it's like running low on cash, and it just sends you to Jersey City. This is all too realistic.
Anyway, so I did download that.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go through the rest of this later. Hey, I can pick a ship as my token. I think I'll do that because nothing ever bad ever happens to ships.
Okay, dude, the Suez Canal thing happened like not that long ago. Be careful what you say. It's kind of fucked up.
Ironic they name a ship Evergreen.
Uh.
Yeah. Anyway, haven't played a whole lot of games. Almost played Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, very good game. Very good game.
Yeah, I might we'll see. Might venture into that tonight.
Nice. I also feel like I didn't play much. I think I just played a lot of MLB, which isn't like too surprising.
You were literally just laughing at me for playing Madden.
Yeah,
like
football season's over.
On season. Yeah, I want more football. You're literally playing a baseball game when you could just watch real baseball.
I actually can't. My MLB TV subscription lapsed. But Shelby got it for T-Mobile Tuesday, baby!
I miss T-Mobile Tuesday.
So that just started back up today. So you're right. Technically, I could watch real baseball. But I'm a Cardinals fan, so that's not real baseball. And then the crowd laughs.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Have I explained to you, and you're the only person who I think may actually care about this.
Well, me and the thousands of listeners at home who are about to hear this.
No, that's what I'm getting at. Like there's a snowball chance already that you'll find this interesting, but I imagine most people won't find this interesting. But you can like level up cards in MLB. Have I told you about this?
I'm glad you haven't, because I literally don't fucking care.
Oh my god. Ah! Ah! Oh, the pain! The agony!
I mean, you have to understand, between you talking about cards and my brother talking about cards, it never fucking ends.
So anyway, you can level up the cards in like Diamond Dynasty.
Okay.
And what's kind of cool about it is you can only get up to level 5. And I know what you're thinking. There's nothing cool about this. And so far, you're right. You can get up to level
Put
5.
words in my mouth.
Okay, well, I'll put more than that in your mouth.
I hope you do.
It goes up to level 5. Each time you level, and it's like using them in game gets you like so much XP towards leveling them up. Okay. Each time you level them up, it tells you what place you were in getting that card to that level.
Okay.
And so when you get it to like, well, it doesn't matter. So like if you're the first person to get a card to level 1 or level 2, right? It'll say 1 out of 1. And then each subsequent person that levels it up to that level will be like 2 out of 2 and then 3 out of 3, right? And then if you were first, it would say like 1 out of however many people have now done it. Which is kind of neat because it gives it that rarity aspect of like actual like physical cards, right? When you like think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just kind of neat. It's just like a fun little thing. Anyway, all of
Yeah.
that's to say that I got Sunny Gray to level 5 and I was the sixth person to do it. Stop clapping. I can't hear you over Discord deafening you.
Yeah, sorry about that. And I was also just saying it's cool that you're taking such an appreciation into something that many would consider how do you say it? Non-fungible.
Well, here's the thing. What?
Indeed.
I hear what you're saying, but like the scarcity, it's not like it's not from a scarcity aspect like it is in real like cards and stuff. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like there's nothing like I'm the 6th person to get Sunny Gray to level 5. So it's like I was 6 out of 6 at one point. But there's nothing impeding somebody else from getting Sunny Gray and like getting him to level 5 and all that. You know what I mean?
But they can't be the 6th person to do it.
It's true. But I also can't sell it for more value. Because it's tied to, it's like tied to your account. So like I could sell my Sunny Gray card. I can't because I collected it technically, so it's non-sellable now. But like every Sunny, that doesn't fucking make sense. Anyway, if I got somebody to like level 5, but I could sell them and I did sell them, it wouldn't be worth more just because I got to level 5 because it's only level 5 for me. But that also means that I could sell a card that I got to level 5 and then buy it again later, and it would still be a level 5 card, and I would still have been the 6th person to do it and all that stuff. I thought it was cool, dude. All right, and I thought maybe you would think it's kind of neat. Okay.
I do think it's neat in the same way I think NFTs are neat. And I'm just glad to see you embracing it.
That hurts.
That was the point.
My goal is to get every single Cardinals card to level 5. So I'll keep the podcast updated.
Mm-hmm. Now, wouldn't it be cool if your collection was actually yours?
It is. My collection is mine.
Not if the server shut down.
Did you just hear Grogu yell? Grogu yelled.
Did he really? No, I didn't hear it. I hope it's on the recording, though.
He's right behind me, just screaming. He's chatting shit.
That's good.
That's good. All right. Whatever. That's all I played. So you only played Madden. I only played MLB. We're in our fucking sport era again. This sucks.
You need to understand that I got drafted in the middle of the first round to the Jets, and I sucked my first year, and I haven't lost a Super Bowl since.
That's a real pull yourself up by your bootstraps story, and I love to hear it.
Yeah. Yeah, and now I'm changing my character's hair to be longer, and at the end of this season, I'm gonna cause drama and ask for a trade, and I'm gonna go to the Giants, who already have um so last year in the Super Bowl, I played the Giants. So they
Mhm.
already have like a Super Bowl caliber quarterback, but I'm gonna come in and take his fucking job with long hair.
Okay.
And it'll be the story. I've been watching um The Dynasty on Apple TV about the Patriots, and I'm just trying to outdo that.
Okay.
I'm just trying to be the biggest villain football's ever had,
All right.
next to Aaron Hernandez.
You could. Okay. I see. I thought when you were saying you were going to grow out your hair, and you were going to like demand a trade, I thought your plan was maybe to go from like the Jets to like, I don't know, some random team, let's say like the Packers,
Mhm.
and then like a lot of hype around you coming to this team. You trot out for your first game and torn Achilles, ruptured Achilles.
That's an option.
So then you spend the like following 9 months going on some like sports
Body.
fuck you. Going on like some sports commentary type show. Let's call it the Matt McAfee show, where you just
Yeah.
spread.
Hosted by Adam Vinatieri.
Yeah, where you just spread um just like the most random conspiracy theories, and really just roll with the idea of like, if you can't actively prove me wrong, I have to be right.
Yes.
So I that's where I thought you were going with the long hair thing. My bad.
I mean, the long hair thing, but the part that I didn't mention, which kind of solidifies your theory, is the big forehead thing.
My
And
God.
scraggly beard.
Oh
I'm
my
making
God.
this as lifelike as possible.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
All right.
And I don't want this to, be forgotten, but the reason I'm so mad with my organization is because I went into free agency because the contract they gave me was dog shit, and I wanted the biggest contract I could get, which they ended up giving me after I went to free agency. But now, I'm playing with a bunch of washed up has-beens who will play for no money but want a Super Bowl,
Mm.
and my team sucks, and I keep getting hit repeatedly. But it's the organization's fault, not mine. But I'm rich, so it doesn't matter.
We will not stand for this.
Anyway.
All right. So into the news.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Perfect segue.
We didn't get to talk about it last week, but there was some news regarding PSVR2. You wanna take it away?
Yeah, so it was reported, and I forget by who at this point. I know I saw it on Bloomberg, so Jason Sherbert was probably the first. Been a while since we cracked that name out.
Yeah, that got me. That got me good.
Yeah, so PlayStation is cutting production of their PSVR2 systems because they are making more than they can sell. And everyone else says, "What took you so long?"
Everybody else said, "And water is wet." And then there was a lot of conversations of, is water truly wet?
It's, on here on the Matt McAfee show, we say, maybe it doesn't. Maybe water makes you wet, but water in itself is not wet.
Yeah.
Don't you dare question me on this. Else I'll see you on the Ro Jogan podcast.
Oh my God. This is one of our worst.
Or one of our best.
Or one of our best. Definitely one of our best. It's one of our best. No, yeah, definitely. Like that was like I imagine most people had the reaction of duh.
Congrats, you made more than 10. Now you're paying for it.
Yeah. Just like it's one of those things that I feel like from the jump, this was the very clear outcome of what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you remember if you've seen it or not. I hadn't looked too much at it yet. Did they like say why or did they like blame it on anything in particular, or did they mostly just say like, oh, we're having a hard time selling them, so we're just gonna halt production until we sell off, you know, what we already have made? Did they provide anything else?
The last I saw was just we have enough inventory, so we're gonna wait for it to sell off some, and then we'll resume production.
My biggest fear, with, I mean, really any sort of like advancement in tech, right, is that somebody does a mildly piss poor attempt at getting people to adopt and then blame consumers for the shitty adoption. And so I wasn't sure if there had been anything like that where it's just like, I don't know what you want us to do. People just clearly don't care about VR, because that's the most likely finger pointing to happen.
Well, not enough people bought the PSVR, the original one, at full price.
Yep.
They only bought it on sale. So, like, what did you expect?
I mean, what? This was the PSVR2. $550, right? Wasn't it that at launch?
Was it?
Why did I think it was more than an actual PS5?
I thought it was like, man, I thought it was maybe 400. I don't remember though. You might be right.
I mean, either way, you were looking at paying close to $1,000, even if it was 400. Let's say it was 400, and you were able to get a dickless PS5, digital only, as it's more affectionately known. But I'm trying. You're paying close to $1,000.
Yeah,
that's not.
Well, I mean, you're
reasonable.
You're right. I mean, I'm just looking it up now, and like on Amazon and directly from PlayStation, it's $550.
Dude, I mean, like, of course you're not going to move anything. It's bad enough.
No.
It's bad enough that people like, I mean, just given everything right now, like a lot of people probably don't have $500 they can afford to just buy the fucking console itself. Not to mention that the console was extremely hard to get a hold of for the longest time. And now you want people to like pony up. That was intentional use of pony. $550 more for something that you haven't given the most like TLC to, you know?
And
go ahead.
Here's the other thing. Like, you haven't done one sale.
Right.
Like, here's my hesitation and kind of why I feel validated and waiting, because like I love VR. And PSVR2 was like the catalyst for me being like, oh shit, like maybe it's time for me to get a PS5.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't do a sale. They've barely done a sale on the console. So like you said, you're spending damn near $1,000 just for the setup. And nobody's buying it. You're cutting production. So like, how can I be confident that you're going to continue developing for this? Like, should I assume that the fact that you're cutting production and keeping the price the same, that I can, without a doubt, buy this at full price and know I'm going to have near 10 years worth of games for it? I don't buy it.
Yeah. Well, and you know, like we already saw that like your games from the first PSVR don't carry over.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like whatever comes
For
after
the most
this,
part, yeah.
like even if like you're saying like okay, like will I get 10 years worth of like, 10 years out of it, in terms of like updated stuff. Can I have some I have no guarantee that after that time anything will like go forward. And so it's like now I'm now how many years into the 10 years of the PSVR, you know what I mean? Like is it even worth it to pick up if they're just going to move on from it here in like what, 5 years, 4 years?
I
No, no more
I
than that.
I
7
not
years?
to be like super bearish on this because, like I said, I really want VR to be successful, but I expect to get an announcement by the end of the year, by the end of 2024, that PlayStation's moving on from PSVR.
I mean, right. Like I get that vibe as well. And I get the vibe that like that's when the finger pointing will happen. We
Yeah.
tried. You guys said you wanted this, so we tried. We're sorry, but you didn't back it up. So yeah, I get that. I get a similar vibe.
Yeah.
And that's
I
kind of
it's
sorry, go ahead.
no, I'm just I mean that's where we've been at. We've thought about this repeatedly because like the case for buying a PS5 in our house is like pretty strong.
Hmm.
We want to play Spider-Man 2. There are PS4 games that I have not played yet that I know I can play at no additional cost on PS5 and have a better experience. Um, Ghost of Tsushima being one of them.
Hmm.
And then we're like, oh, well, if we're going to buy a PS5, we should buy PSVR 2 because we still use our PSVR, our original one, pretty frequently.
Sure.
I mean, like when we have game nights on the weekends, it's still something that we frequently crack out. But at the end of the day, like I'm the only one who plays like the story-based games, and even that I seldom do anymore. We really just use it for like Fruit Ninja and Beat Saber and like the typical party games, and for whatever that's worth, the PSVR, the original one, still works fine. Like it's still a great experience. So why would we I mean, we're almost at the point where we're almost thinking about like buying a PS4 Pro just to make the original PSVR better. Because we're not I don't know. It's a weird conundrum to be in.
Yeah, 100%.
And the other thing too is that like for what like the Meta Quest 3, in my opinion, without going like too far out of this conversation, is the best VR device you can buy.
And I think that's echoed.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know. I guess it's a natural point to move this conversation forward. We look at the state of VR right now, and we just had probably the biggest VR slash AR slash, whatever you want to call it, mixed reality device that's ever been created in the Apple Vision Pro. I
Hmm.
mean, that's what people were waiting for. And it was $3,500 for the base model, incredibly fragile. And, the people who could afford it bought it. And I mean, the news was going crazy about how fast they were getting returned because nobody knew what to use it for other than just like the party trick aspect of it.
Hmm.
But, the Meta Quest 3, tons of people bought, tons of people still use because it was, I think, like $400. It's a standalone unit. Um, there are tons of independent developers building on it. There's tons of big, like Xbox, for example, they put Game Pass on it. I mean, that's a huge use case for it.
Yeah.
Um, that's mixed reality. Like I think they brought like Microsoft Office to it too. Like you can use it as a computer. And it's $400 or $500, whatever it is. But that's it. You don't need another computer.
Hmm.
Like, you don't need to have a battery pack in your pocket. it's amazing to me that Meta and Oculus can keep doing it right and nobody's learning.
I know. And I think my frustration, and this is gaming as a whole, is it's like what you're saying, right? Where you have a leader in the space doing things right, and other people trying to do it but not do it right. Like they aren't putting forth the same level of effort. Um, and then calling it quits on it and like blaming. Normally that blame like ends up back on the consumers.
Mm-hmm.
Like live service games, for how much we talk about them, right? It's like everybody wants to try and do a live service game because everybody thinks they can be the next Fortnite, but nobody actually tries to take the time to like build what like Fortnite has built or realize what Fortnite has built is like unobtainable or whatever. And then they shutter. And, people who get on board with it and enjoy it and stuff are upset and they go, well, blame everybody else. You wanted Days Gone 2? Well, blame everybody who didn't buy it at full cost. And it's like, what? No, that's not how this works. That's not how it works at all.
No, your poor market research should not be blamed on the market.
Or your lack of effort. Again, to me, the PSVR2 is just a lack of effort or a lack of understanding or something. It's a complete whiff on PlayStation's part. I don't know what brainiac, what Bobby Kotick motherfucker was in the room and said this peripheral should cost more than a standalone console.
Yeah.
That is so unbelievably unrealistic to think you're going to move any units. The fact that you move any is a win. I think that was kind of the joke you said at the top. Like, oh, you did 10. Don't know why you tried to do more than that.
Yeah.
That's just crazy. It's just crazy to me. And it's not like they've put enough software on to, I think, like, warrant the jump, right? Like, I think most people point to, like, Half-Life Alyx as, like, this is, like, the definitive VR experience.
Mm-hmm.
What is the definitive PSVR2 experience?
I mean, it's really hard. And I've said this before. The story-based PSVR games, like on the original PSVR, so cool. So much fun. I mean, you spend more time in VR than you should. And I'm sure that's the way that like the Horizon, I forget what it's called, but the Horizon game that launched with PSVR2, like I'm sure that's just amazing. But I mean, it's a one-trick pony, and now they're not like. I know every now and then they show like one or two VR games coming to PSVR, but they just like keep giving up on trying to make like a showstopper, and they still haven't quite gotten that. And I think they're just too tentative to really pull the trigger on it.
And like, I think that's fine. Like, you don't have to be perfect.
Yeah, I don't know. Does it just beg the bigger question of the only people who care about VR are the enthusiasts?
If
And that's in general. I'm not talking
no, I know.
just PlayStation.
No, I hear you. I think it's still just too unobtainable in like a lot of different ways. So like cost, and you have to have space, and it may not have the biggest library. And so I think there's just like a bunch of different things that it like almost makes itself only viable to the the most enthusiastic base. I don't know. That's kind of my read on it. I think of every VR headset that was like top of the line was like, I don't know, $200. I wonder how much of an impact that would have.
I'm positive way more people would have it.
Right, I would think, right? But that would kind of be like that would be the what's the word I'm looking for? That would be like the proof, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you drop it to $200 and still nobody buys it, then yeah, going back to your original question, yeah, only fanatics care, clearly. But I feel the same way. I think it's interesting enough to most people that I think it's like a want, but it hasn't positioned itself as a need. And like no video games are technically a need, right? But consoles have managed to position themselves as a need. You got to get the PS5. You got to get the Series X. You got to get the Switch. This is the definitive platform to play Naughty Dog games. This is the definitive platform to play Mario, you know?
It kind of feels like it needs to follow the path of being intrusive like mobile games are. Like VR gaming won't be important until everybody is wearing some sort of like augmented reality device.
Right. Right. Until you've hit the masses.
Yeah.
But you've got to force your way to the masses.
And in which case there isn't a whole lot of a market for PlayStation.
Sure.
I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe we look at augmented reality devices in the same way as smartphones, and Sony makes an augmented reality device and it's like that, like PSP Go-esque device that they made in the late 2010s. The Xperia Play, I think it was. Where like it was your phone, but it slid out and it had PlayStation controls.
Mm-hmm. Didn't you have that?
No,
Oh.
someone else we went to school with had it.
We went to school with the coolest people.
I can't wait to talk about this afterwards.
I knew as soon as I was saying it.
You know who I'm talking about?
No, but I mean, I have a laundry list of people who I just can't wait for it to be one of those people.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure it will be.
Because we only actually went to school with like 3 cool people.
Yeah.
And we were 2 of them.
Right.
Oh, fuck.
And the person was not Alex, so.
Sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I hate it because I'm one of the enthusiasts and I really wanted to see this do well, but I think other than meta, like yeah, it's I don't know. VR is not gonna I think PlayStation VR is done. I don't think Xbox is gonna pursue it, which like they never had any interest in it.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the other facet of it is that consumers are so distracted by mobile devices right now. Like everyone wants a new PSP, everyone wants an Xbox handheld, and PlayStation and Xbox and third-party manufacturers are going along with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like hardware is not a good business right now, and the market says they would rather have whatever variation of a Nintendo Switch over goggles that you can take anywhere over than goggles that you have to like have a dedicated space for in your house. So I see PlayStation giving up on PSVR2 within the year and moving on to like a first party portable which I think a lot of people will be happy with.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I do want to just be clear. Like, I don't really have any like ill feelings towards PlayStation trying this. A lot of my hangups come from what felt like, especially with the PSVR2, what felt like a lot of like, generally like speaking, a lack of effort to actually get it into people's hands.
Yeah.
If they can be mature about it and not like put the blame on the consumers and say like we tried to go too big, too fast, blah blah blah, that's on us, sort of deal, and like now we have all these headsets and they're still $550 and we're not going to lower in price at all because then we won't have made money off of them or whatever. So be it. But it'll be the moment that they go, it's because you shitty consumers, nobody wants to work anymore. Nobody wants to buy video games anymore. That's when I'll be actually mad. But it happens. If anything, I'm kind of grateful that they did take the chance and tried to do VR.
Right.
I just don't want it to be like a black stain on VR. And like to your point, like I don't want to see VR get like completely given up on. But I don't really think that'll happen. Not fully.
Yeah, I'm sure in 10 years we'll see PlayStation or Sony make some standalone device that doesn't require a console.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Until then, it's not going to be a consumer product.
Yeah. And I think, like, to your point, the 10-year or whatever, like, it'll be a while, and it probably still won't be what it could have been had the, like, right amount of attention been given to it.
Mm-hmm.
And the right amount of fanfare from consumers in that regard. But yeah. Anything else on VR that you'd like to say?
No.
All right. Then let's talk about does it smell like Updog to you?
What's up, dog?
Dragon's Dogma apparently has microtransactions.
Oh.
Was that a good segue?
What's up, dog, indeed.
So if you don't know, Dragon's Dogma 2 is a very hard name of a game to say for me personally. Dragon's Dogma. There's something about the word flow that doesn't work for me.
Too much alliteration and
yeah,
not really enough flow.
I kind of get mush mouth trying to say it. Really stunning visual game that has not had any performance issues. That's not true. It has. But this was like a game that was shown probably a year ago, or maybe it was like at Summer Games Fest. It was like announced, and a lot of the fanfare around it is like, I would say, fairly reminiscent to like some of the fanfare around like a Baldur's Gate. A lot of like, just really like solid RPG elements to it that people are like big fans of. Apparently, you have like these pawns or something like that. That I think can be other people's created characters. It just seems like a really like grand fantasy adventure that a lot of people were really excited about. I personally do not know too much about the game or the series. I know that this is the second one, or maybe it could be potentially the third. Sometimes games do that. All right. So if that's the case, don't hold that against me. But the main thing that came out that I think is a very interesting topic for us to have is that apparently the game has microtransactions. And now this is a single player game. I don't believe there's any multiplayer whatsoever. Like, I don't even think like you and I could play it together and be like an adventuring party. Like you could technically do with like Baldur's Gate. But as far as I'm aware, this is a completely single player, adventure game. So microtransactions are a little weird. And they're microtransactions for like key items, like a key, literally, to unlock a cell door, or a fast travel pack, or trying to think of what. an item that allows you to change and like customize your character, that like unlocks like character customization, something like that. Really, really interesting, weird, and when you first see that, I would say very shitty. Then comes out, and it actually says it in the store description for these items, that's like, this consumable item is available in game. So I wanted to kind of talk about this. Do you see anything inherently wrong with what they've done? And yeah, let's start with that. Let's start there.
No, if the disclaimer is like front and center.
Okay.
Like, I don't think it should be one of those things that's hidden away in the fine text. Like, it should say, hey, you can earn this in game, like front and center.
Sure.
And I understand that's bad for business and that'd be stupid, but like from a regulatory standpoint, I feel like that's how it should be.
I'm going to try and pull up the store page for it to see what I can find. Do you see a potential slippery slope in what they've done? Not to bring up a slippery slope.
Um, I don't, I don't know. I guess not. Again, it all comes down to like disclaimer. Like, if people want to pay to not play a game, whatever, I don't give a shit. That's not my prerogative.
Right. I mean, that's where I sit mostly in this, right? It's like, when I saw that it's like, oh, you have to buy this key, I was like, that's really fucked up and shitty. Because that directly impacts like a story path. And you're saying the only way to experience the story path is give me 99 cents. But, and I just got to the thing. This is for the makeshift Gowl key, escape from Gowl. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I really don't care. Note, there are other set products which include this product. Please be aware of duplicate purchases. The base game is required to use the items in this set. Please make sure you have updated to the latest version. Granted, I'm looking at this on my phone, so when trying to think about what the actual console thing looks like, I'm trying to think in my head if I think one is better than the other, especially when I've already passed technically add to cart to read just this note. But I'll continue. Obtain a key to the Gowl of relatively crude make. It will break after a single use. Note, this consumable item is also obtainable in game.
Yeah, I think that disclaimer should be at the top.
Sure. Like it should be in
they-
the name of the item. Like Dragon's Dogma 2, makeshift Gowl key, escape from Gowl, purchase not necessary.
Right.
Item is available in game. Like put it in the title in parentheses or something. I agree. I agree with that call out.
Yeah. I don't have an issue inherently with it existing, but people should know that it's not like it's not necessary, or it doesn't get you to an extra area of the game that you couldn't get to otherwise. And to go back to your slippery slope question, like I said, I'm fine with it existing. I don't believe that game developers should be making a game so unreasonably hard that 90% of people are just going to have to buy the key instead of like the 10% who are just very good at the game and can obtain it naturally.
And I think that is like, that's the slippery slope that people are trying to present. or they're trying to present that like upgrade item could be purchasable. I don't know. I don't know what all the items that are purchasable are. That like it's impossible to get to max level without having to like eventually purchase 2 or 3 with like actual money. And like people are trying to present that. I think my standing there is if people genuinely care that much, right? Don't fucking buy the items. Stay strong. Do not buy the fucking items. And if we ever get to the point where it's so bad that it like impedes progress in the game, like you have to purchase to continue, I think we as a society do a pretty good job of calling that kind of stuff out. Just based off of the fact that the first thing I saw was that people were saying, this is fucking bullshit. You have to buy these items. And the very next thing I saw was, no, you don't. They are available to you in game. It is purely optional to buy the item. Like the narrative and the information gets out pretty quick regarding those things. That like, if it ever gets to the point where you have to purchase to move on, don't buy the fucking game.
Right.
It's one of those things where like, we have the power as consumers to vote with our wallet, right? And so that's what you have to do. And you can't get mad when somebody else decides to spend their money on said thing.
Yeah.
I
mean, I think that's a really good point.
And don't get me wrong, it's incredibly shitty to like put a game behind a paywall and make it like unobtainable to like certain people. But one, it technically isn't unobtainable. Like it's it comes down to like personal perceived value in a purchase, right? So if you don't see the value in it and somebody else does, it's like that doesn't really mean anything. I think it's scummy at like the lowest at the most like basic understanding. Like I think it's scummy of a company to like actively like try to lock people out. But I mean, I don't even know like what else to say. Like, yeah, it sucks. It's fucking shitty that somebody can do that. And we all just need to kind of like move on and be like, okay, well then I don't need to give my money to that thing. I don't need to give my money to that product. It's so interesting because I think there's such a fear of missing out in all of our lives right now in every single way. And I think like social media causes that. And that is a way that like a game company could be predatory and capitalize on someone's FOMO. And it already happens in certain ways, but all of that is to say, I don't think personally this is worth the public outcry that it received, because these aren't items that are only available via purchase. And I even like sat and went back and forth on that too, where it's like, okay, but what if this key, and this sounds like you're like buying this key because you get locked somewhere and it's the only way to escape or something. But let's just say it's like, oh, there's this mysterious door in this one town that's locked. And if you buy this key, you can go in there and there's like just loot. How's that any different than like a $5 DLC that gives you like a specific sword and stuff like that? Like at the end of the day, right? It's a single player game. If anything, cosmetics and stuff like that, or even a sword that like makes the game easier, or a weapon that makes the game easier, or what have you. At the end of the day, I don't fucking care. It's only when like PvP and you can like purchase with real money a gun or a sword or something like that that gives you an active advantage over other people you are going to play against, that I get like extremely mad. But that's what I guess what I'm trying to get at is like the whole like these optional items to purchase just more so align with like when you buy the deluxe edition of any single player game and you're given like a fucking hat, you know?
Yeah. Or, I mean, even like an in-game advantage. I'm trying to think like I think it was really popular in the PS3 and maybe the PS4 or early PS4 era where like you'd buy the deluxe edition and you'd get like an XP pack or something.
Yes, exactly. Like it just gives off that like sort of vibe. It is a little weird because again, like certain items are very very specific to like the key. I don't fully understand and I don't fully know when the key is used and stuff like that. So maybe the key item is like especially shitty. But
Yeah, like or maybe it's something you would have to like I don't know, maybe there's multiple of these keys and you kind of have to farm them to get to like all areas. Like that's the option or you could buy it.
yeah, I don't know. I just thought the general outcry was very interesting. Um, Especially when I think we all are fairly vocal about the opportunity again that we all have, which is to vote with our wallets, and this is like a prime example of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like, and again, these are single player items, so somebody's decision to buy one of these keys has no impact on you and your experience, and I think that's another thing that people just get so hung up on. Um, But again, where I see it as like an issue is if somebody buys it because they have to buy it. There's no other way around. There's no other path forward. They have to spend money on a game they've already spent money on. That's when I would see an issue. But as far as I can tell, that's not what this is.
Yeah.
Um,
No, and as long as it stays that way, I'm fine with it.
yeah. And yeah, as long as it doesn't do that creep. But yeah, I would say I'm the same way. Like I'm kind of fine with this. Like I see this type of item as like accessibility is not the right word. Um or I certainly don't mean it in a way of like um trying to help like players with like disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more so thinking of it from the sense of like you're somebody who doesn't have a lot of time, but you really want to experience this game. And again, the key is not the right example, but like any sort of like single player boost advantage type weapons that again are purely optional. I just see it as a way of like somebody who doesn't have a lot of time but wants to experience a game, like they can make that decision where it's like, is it worth it for me to spend this extra $20 and like I'll have like an easier experience? Yeah, it is. And I see that as like a way for them. Again, accessibility is not the right way, but like it's more achievable all of a sudden if somebody chooses to do that. But again, there is nothing intrinsically saying you have to do that.
Yeah, as long as it stays discretionary, I really don't care. It'd be I mean, it beats the hell out of like giving up on a game because you just can't get past a part.
Right.
Again, as long as it stays within a reasonable threshold of like the average person can complete this and I just suck.
Exactly. Yeah, that'll be interesting. I think we talked about that previously, right? Where somebody was floating out the idea of like having trouble with a boss. Well, you can spend $5 and then you're given like the God Destroyer. And it's just like, okay, but like what happens when like every game company inserts a boss that is legitimately impossible unless you have a God Destroyer? Mm-hmm. Then what do we do? But this isn't us there yet,
yeah, I agree.
But I thought it was very interesting and worth bringing up. A lot of people talking about how Dragon's Dogma, Tom Henderson was one of them, how this was like a game of the year contender. And now, after it's been released, Again, it did have some performance issues, but I think a lot of people's main gripe was also with the fact that there were these like add-ons and stuff like that. And it all of a sudden had very unfavorable reviews, but now I feel like we've distanced ourselves from that a little bit. It's only been like roughly a week, maybe not even. And I already feel like I'm seeing people come back around on it. People are posting videos of it where in a very typical fantasy adventure game, you're seeing people do some crazy shit. I saw somebody was like riding a dragon that I think they were actually fighting, but they like got on top of it. And the dragon, like, it's like a seamless open world. So the dragon like was flying over a nearby village, town, city, whatever. And the person fell off the dragon and their pawn was underneath and caught them. And I was just like, that's amazing. Like, that's so fucking cool. So I'm starting to see like some like more positive things come around on it. And it seems to be being held in a bit more of a favorable light. But we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think it should be taken away from a good game. Again, as long as it's not predatory.
Agreed.
That's about all I have to say about it.
All right. Well, hey, I'm glad we were able to have this very important discussion. The people were clamoring for it. We needed to get to the bottom of it, and I think we did.
Yep. Authoritative. That's what we do.
All right. Anything else you wanted to talk about this week?
No.
Great.
Good to go.
Alrighty. Well then, as always, thank you all so much for listening. If you could do us a favor and leave us a rating or review wherever you do listen to the podcast, that would be greatly appreciated. Just a reminder, we do have a YouTube channel where we post the audio for these. Feel free to go over there, sauce a comment underneath the video. Let us know what your thoughts are on PlayStation no longer moving forward with creating VR for now, and what your thoughts are on the Dragon's Dogma 2 microtransactions.
And let us know if you like dragons.
And let us know if you let us know what's up, dog. Other than that, if you could share with a friend, it would be greatly appreciated. Other than that, we'll talk to you next week.